Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Jonathan. I believe this is the last of the requests he sent. Thank you for your patience, for your kindness, your generosity. Thank you so much, Jonathan Warden. I hope you're doing well. For anyone interested in requesting any other type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, tier lists, rankings, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this is for the Long Kiss Goodnight, which I know recently just got a 4K from Arrow. I sadly do not have that. I put it on my Amazon wish list to remember, and then as the holidays go on I'll see if there's any deals or something going on. Because it didn't feel like there was much deals for Black Friday. But I'll see when it's closer to Christmas time. But this is a film I've always enjoyed. I always thought it was a bit underrated. It does have a bit of a following. And I know the people behind it, Renny Harlin, Geena Davis, Sam Jackson, they're proud of the film. You can find interviews where Renny Harlin says he feels it's one of his best films. Sam Jackson, he has said on talk shows this is either his favorite role or one of his favorite roles. Geena Davis, she really enjoys the film, so they're definitely proud of it, as they should be. Shane Black wrote the film, so you have a good caliber of people. Shane Black, I mean, of course, funny enough, takes place around Christmas time, just like Lethal Weapon, which Shane Black also wrote, among other films. Renny Harlin had done Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2 and The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. I enjoy all those films I mentioned. So, Cutthroat Island did not do well. I'm not big on Cutthroat Island. That might have hurt this film. Just people might have gone, wait, is that the guy who did that Cutthroat Island movie? I don't know if I want to see another film with him. And it has the same lady, Geena Davis. Either they saw Cutthroat Island, they didn't like it, so they weren't sure on them reteaming, or Cutthroat Island got a lot of publicity for being a bomb. And they would say, oh, it killed the studio. There were other factors as to why Carolco ended. A lot of factors. Overspending, lavish parties. I mean, didn't they give, like, Stallone, I think, or Schwarzenegger, like, they gave someone, like, a jet? Stallone, I can't remember. I swear I heard that story. It's way too much overspending, among other stuff. And, I mean, I would love to have seen Isobar with Stallone get made, Crusade with Arnold get made. Instead, I think Cutthroat Island was already being made. I wish we could have just held off. Let's ease up on spending on Cutthroat Island. Let's wait on it. Oh, here's Crusade and Isobar. Let's make those instead, and those come out. And let those be the last films of Carolco. Not one of them be... I don't know if Cutthroat Island was the last, but it was one of the last. Anyway, that didn't help this film. Which is too bad, because I see a lot of films nowadays when they make movies with female action direction. Whether it be Peppermint with Jennifer Garner, whether it be, what was that Kate Beckinsale film? I reviewed it a few months ago and I forgot what the fuck it was called. There was that other one that like wanted to be fucking... God damn it, I forget these damn movies because I didn't give a shit about them. I said it was like Air Force One, but if it sucked... That's what the review... I forget what the movie's called, but if Air Force One sucked, because this lady played the president, and that film sucked. Like, even, you know, Atomic Blonde, I thought was disappointing. So many of those films want to be this film, and they're not. Because this film has a good script by Shane Black, with some pretty funny bits of dialogue and banter between the characters. The story is strong. It's a strong basis for the rest of the movie, and it's well cast. Geena Davis, I always liked as an actress. She does well in Beetlejuice and The Fly. Hell, what was The Quick and the Dead. When that came out with Sharon Stone, I'm like, man, I'd rather this be Geena Davis or Demi Moore. And sadly, like Geena Davis kind of like she was in one of was it the Exorcist TV show, one of the seasons. I never saw that, so but like you don't really hear of Geena Davis anymore, which is too bad. Because again, I always liked her as an actress. She plays Samantha, a lady who 8 years ago washed up on the beach and she had amnesia. So it's 8 years later. When she washed up, she was pregnant, so she has this kid. She's going out with this guy, and she's a teacher. She's in the town parade. Everything's going well. Of course, it's Christmas time. Someone in prison sees her on the TV and goes, "No, no fucking way!" Escapes, comes about there, and you find out that he tries to kill her. She kills him. I forgot to mention there was an incident before all this where a guy was getting a bit touchy-feely with her. Fucking someone's dad, drunk as fuck. She gets in a car crash, goes through the window, and that helps start her memory back. So like she's cutting carrots. Oh, maybe I was a chef. And throws a knife into a tomato. Stick it on the wall. Oh, chefs do that. She hires this PI, played by Sam Jackson, in order to get some help on figure out who she is. And she ultimately does. Brian James, who was in X-Men 2, he was the original Hannibal Lecter Manhunter. He tells her the info that your name is Charlie Baltimore. You used to be an assassin working for the United States. You get a couple action scenes. She doesn't believe it. Sam Jackson doesn't believe it. Then ultimately she does believe it. Some more action scenes. Some more trying to figure out more info. They get captured. She gets tortured with a bit of a drowning. Remembers more fully who she is. Becomes fully the Charlie Baltimore. Sam Jackson reminds her, hey, you know what? I like the other girl a bit better. Ultimately, her daughter's taken, and she goes back to save her with the help of Sam Jackson's character. Craig Bierko. This is one of his first films. He plays the villain. David Morse. Which is funny. I mean, in retrospect, I think David Morse should have been the main villain. Craig Bierko does fine. Honestly, with the script he was given, he has some funny moments. Like, witty moments. Like, one of his men's like, I'm dying. Well, then continue dying. Like, this moments like that was pretty funny. David Morse, I'm just surprised that he's not in it a whole lot, because he was like the main bad guy later in Disturbia, and he's a good actor, and I feel like he would be in it more. But it's one of those films that even at 2 hours, it doesn't feel it. It goes by a good pace. Geena Davis, you could buy her as a sweet, the mom, this teacher. She has that gentle sweetness to her. And then when she was able to turn on, she has that feisty attitude, but not overacting, overbearing it. She does get hurt. She does get hit. She does get beaten up. She does get bloodied. Because some of these films, like, they go through the whole movie and then they barely have a scratch. Her, the first action set piece in her house, she's like using the fridge and it gets blasted. She flies off and the bad guy's punching her. So she like hits him and does like a kung fu punch on him, breaks his fucking neck or whatever. In the third act of the film, she's getting beaten up, she's getting slashed up, she even collapses and her daughter has to get up, don't be a wimp. She actually goes through pain. She's just bloodied up and stuff. The action set pieces are entertaining. There's the bit that you see in the trailer where there's a grenade. Granted, the grenade blows up very fucking slow. Usually grenades you throw and then boom. But here's like the grenade waits. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you to get down the hallway. I'll wait. Don't worry, I'm waiting. You down far enough? Okay, I'm gonna explode. It's a movie. It's like Die Hard 2. Maybe Renny Harlin didn't know how grenades worked. Because that happened in Die Hard 2 as well. When they threw him in the cockpit. And thankfully the grenades waited. They were patient for John McClane to go eject. And then they blow up. So, grenades don't really work that way. They're not, I'll wait for you. That's not how it works. But it's a movie. It's for fun. But I like the idea, the wall of explosion, especially the stunt where when they fly out the window and she's shooting the ice, and that way they can fall through and not break their legs and break their neck. That's a pretty well staged. I mean, the wall of fire, they did what they could with the effects of the time and for safety. But the stunt people going out, and it's a cool shot of shooting down and the way the camera goes down with them. Very well staged on that scene. There's a nice bit where these guys accost her and Sam Jackson tries to help and she's like, I don't need your help, and is able to disarm and kill these 3 or so guys. The bits at the end, which I'll wait till the end. I don't want to spoil it. But, I mean, the action is well made. It's well choreographed. You definitely get your satisfaction with the action. And the characters. Like, Sam Jackson is very likable. And I can see why this is a favorite character of his. Because you do get to know a good chunk of this character. You get to know that he was a cop and he made some mistakes. And you're thinking it's going to be he was framed because his bearer bonds or such were taken. And he's like, oh, no, I took them. But then you have this nice moment where I've never done one thing wrong in my life. That takes skill. But he's like a cool PI because he got the cigarette and he mixes the drinks and he has this thing what he does. Oh, I'd sing to myself so I can remember what to do and not to do. I gotta go downstairs. Turn off the light. So there's these nice, fun little character quirks and quips that Shane Black puts into the script. And I forgot how funny this film was. Like one of the first times you see Sam Jackson, and he actually breaks in on Rex Linn. Rex Linn, who was in Cliffhanger. He was also later in CSI Miami and a lot of other stuff. Where the guy's like having sex with, I'm just cheating on someone or with a hooker or whatever. And Sam warns him, well, let's say, you don't go to prison, you don't get a lot of ass fucking. And if you get out, I don't know, hire people to personally ass fuck you. So whatever it is, if you're an ass fucking fan, you better go ahead and mouth off. Otherwise, shut up. Even Trey Bierko, someone goes, looks like someone saw something disturbing. It's like, yeah, I know, it's called Baywatch Nights. Get to your point. So they know about Baywatch Nights, but it's definitely not disturbing. Especially the second season. It's fucking gold. Brian Cox, when we first meet him, I don't know if it's his mom or whatever, or just someone he knows. She has like a dog who keeps licking herself. And he's been licking himself like that for an hour. I think it's best for him to know. Either whatever's down there is either gone for good or there to stay. It's the way Brian Cox says it, like he just had enough is what makes it funny. when they meet Brian Cox and then they're not sure, so they take his car and leave him there. And before that, Brian Cox had hit Sam in the crotch. As they're driving away, Gina's like, "You thinking what I'm thinking?" And Sam goes, "Well, I hope not, because I'm thinking how much my balls hurt." Or when they get to, hopefully, someone that will help with her memory. While she's doing that, Sam Jackson staying behind, and he gets found by Brian Cox. And he tells about how he found him. "And you left this. With this, and it looks like the picture of a man's dick." And he's like, Sam's like, "That's a duck, not a dick." And you can tell that you look at it kind of looks both ways, although it does look more like a dick, but I guess it does look like kind of a duck. But it's just the way you have good actors that rapport and have that time with each other, and again, some pretty funny dialogue. Or just some badass ones. Geena Davis is lying to the villain at the end. "Die screaming, motherfucker." You're like, yeah. See, Geena Davis is a badass, but believable. When she doesn't hit someone, a guy 3 times her size, and they fly, 10 feet. She struggles, she gets tired, she gets hurt, she bleeds. And, yeah, there's some over-the-top escapism, of course. I mentioned the thing with grenades. When she's being attacked at her home near the beginning, and there's a shot where, I guess it's a shotgun, but it looked like a fucking missile shot. And granted, they put a special effect because the little girl was nearby. They didn't want to hurt the little girl. I get it. But it definitely, did he shoot a shotgun shell or a fucking missile? And then Geena Davis looks through the hole, grabs her, and throws her, which, decently far. But she's a good actress, and she makes it believable. And I think nowadays it's like, well, you can't. It seems like if a lady is an action star, they don't want to be looked at as weak. They don't want to be looked at as getting beaten up. They don't want to be looked at as vulnerable because somehow that's against their. Against something. I don't know what the fuck is against, but I guess I can't be looked at as weakness. Let's say everybody gets vulnerable. Rambo got vulnerable. He broke down at the end of First Blood crying. Rambo 2 got caught and leeches are on him. Everybody gets vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like sometimes with someone does it nowadays, they just write that off. Nope, can't be. And they're also very emotionless. This, on the you always see the emotion on Geena Davis's face. When Sam Jackson gets wounded, and she's like, "Mitch," that's his character's name, Mitch. You see the tears in her eyes, you see the emotion in her face. When her and the daughter are trapped in the freezer, and she doesn't know how to get out, and the little girl, she brought matches because Christmas tradition, they light stuff, and she's, "Oh, I love you." Like, you feel the emotion of the character. That is important. Because despite this deepism, despite the over-the-top nature of the action scenes, it still makes them human. And it still makes you relate to them, not in the fact of, well, I could do any of that stuff she can, the character that is, but just not be just this automaton that needs some transfusion of fucking emotion. But a lot of times, they think acting like a emotionless mannequin means tough. I'm like, if you don't have a tough presence. Like Charles Bronson, Clint Eastwood, Van Damme, they had that stuff. But not everybody does it. Men or women. But yeah, the action scenes are fun. I laughed quite a few times rewatching this film again. I definitely want to pick up the 4K sometime, like I mentioned. The reason I didn't pick it up at first is like, man, there's no interview with Geena Davis. There's no interview with Sam Jackson. Sam is such a big fan of this movie. It'd be nice to hear him do an interview with the film, about the film that is. Same with Geena Davis. I mean, it's like, why not? That'd be nice to hear. But it has other features on it, so, one day. I'm pausing because this is a bit of a spoiler, but spoilers starting now. So up until then, you got some nice, just some nitpicks. Early on, there's this nightmare sequence where she is like she's standing and there's like a mirror and there's like clouds in the back and it looks pretty cringy. It looks pretty goofy and hate to use the word cheesy. It looks really corny because of all the I don't know, green screen, whatever, all the cloud stuff. It's like the first time she's seen like the mirror image of Charlie Baltimore with the blonde hair. It just, I just like the way the acting was and just the background being a lot of it fake. I honestly wish that was cut out of the movie or re-edited or something. It just looked really cheap and corny. So that's a little nitpick. The car crash where there's a deer because the guy's, not letting her pay attention to the road and she hits a deer. Credit to the effects where it looked, they made the deer move in the windshield so it didn't look like just a cheap puppet or anything. So people who, accidentally hit a deer, they can maybe relate to this. And then with the crash, when the character goes out the windshield, it's a good stunt of a person flying off and landing, and because sometimes if you do that poorly with a dummy it can look laughable, but not here. I thought it looked rather legit and looked painful. And again, so while the action, the humor, when she fully becomes Charlie Baltimore and rescues Sam Jackson and he's recovering, she sees his bandage leaking. It's like, oh, think we need to fix that. Hey, take a look. And Sam's like, oh, ah. I was distracting you. It's like people do with virgins. And Sam's like, virgins? Yeah, maybe a guy bites a woman on the ear or earlobe, and you just see Sam's confusion of what the, who the fuck are you? Charlie the spy. And you know what? She looks good either way. She looks good in her the hair color earlier, and then she looked good as a blonde too. So looked good either way. I also like the action scene where she's ice skating, and I thought the way the director did it is a nice usage of slow-mo and is shooting the bad guys. Renny Harlin knew what he was doing at this point, aside from Cutthroat Island. But Cliffhanger and, again, Deep Blue Sea after this, he definitely was a very good action director. So in the third act, when they got to go rescue the girl, well, they've been they go to rescue the girl, they get captured. She's able to make everything explode thanks to the little girl, and there's this funny bit of business where the explosion is so big, even gets to where Sam's at, tied to a chair, and he flies out the window, and there's a wide shot where his character flies out like this and lands in trees. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's done in a fairly good way in terms of, it may be bullshit, But they try to make you believe as much of the bullshit as possible, and it was commendable in that. And actually, it was a really funny bit too. And then you have this badass moment from Sam where he's gonna try to rescue the girl, and he's going in and shooting the bad guys, and she's sniping people. But originally, Sam Jackson's character was supposed to die. He was supposed to die. I'm guessing in this scene here, he was supposed to die. Because there's a bit where he's shooting, and then Craig Bierko, the main villain, wounds him. She cries out Sam's character's name. He falls to the ground. Now, it makes me wonder how the ending of the film would be, because the ending of the film is Sam driving the car. I guess it would just be her driving the car, I guess. But apparently there was a test screening, and people did not like that Sam died. They were very, very bummed. Which I'm guessing this is why when you see him again, his first line is, "You can't kill me, motherfuckers." So at the time you think, okay, that's in character, you guys are trying to shoot. That's pretty meta joke. It's literally telling the studio, whoever the strip, "You can't kill me." I'm like, yeah, they in Deep Blue Sea they can, which is what made that. Granted, the crappy CGI doesn't hold up. But it's a fun scene because of the idea and the way Sam goes and the surprise of that. "A fucking shark ate me." But before that, you have a good tainter pretty much the girl's in this tainter, and there's also this bomb, and she's got to get out of town, and some good stunt work there. They just shot at the chopper. Her and Craig Bierko get into a little bit of a battle. And then you have a great... And I'm guessing like moments like this is why Sam loves his character so much. Because she is asking for help. The bad guys around there won't do anything. And then Sam sits up and is like, you hear that music sting. And he's like bloodied up. And that's like that is a theater applause reaction. That's a yeah reaction. I guarantee you, who did see in the theater, that would have, especially, yeah. Just that is a cheer-worthy moment. And then he did say to do one thing right in his life, and he did it already, but here especially. And then that cool moment where the bad guy's in a helicopter. She cuts the line, goes up. There's a bad guy frying. Grabs his gun while she goes up. Die screaming, motherfucker. Again, a good cheer-worthy moment for the audience. And then they escape, and the bridge, or I did call it bridge. Cool explosion. Now you could tell it is models. You could tell. But it looks cool. It still looks really cool. I remember the trailer for this. It's a very well done trailer. It uses the music that would later be in the Matrix trailer. And it's such a great fucking trailer. It really is. Now, I didn't see this in the theater because where I lived, we didn't get the theater much because it was so far away. So I lived in the country. The nearest we're in Iowa. We literally would have to cross the Minnesota border to get to the nearest theater. So every once in a blue moon, like Die Hard with a Vengeance, I think I saw in the theater. The Fifth Element I saw in the theater. Godzilla, like once in a blue moon. Maybe Independence Day, maybe... Well, I don't know. That might have been just VH. I don't know. Not on a common occasion. But for those who are able to, I don't know how you see this trailer and don't go, I gotta go see this movie. Because it flopped. It's a shame that it flopped. But yeah, it's a cool model explosion that really sells the trailer. Again, you can tell it's model work, but I think it's a fun, entertaining effect. Now, there are shots where you see the characters up close driving, and you can tell the background is not the best green screen. Like, you could tell when it cuts to them in the car, the green screen around them. I do like that one of the cars flies off and lands in front of them, almost like that scene in Twister. And the little girl's like, drive around the cars. I'm like, no shit, I was going to drive through the cars, little girl. Shut up. I did say that. Shut up, girl. He fucking knows. He knows not to drive into the cars. Shut up. Which, I mean, is mean. I mean, don't be mean to the little girl, but... Which I think that little girl will later be in some Shane Black films later. I could be wrong on that. But, you know, it's a satisfying ending. Geena Davis goes back to her family. Sam Jackson gets on Larry King as a hero and the good graces of his ex-wife and his son. And it all works out for the best. So, again, aside from some nitpicks, like the grenade taking forever to blow up, like he did Die Hard 2. Because again, it's like Renny Harlin didn't know how grenades worked. The little nightmare scene early on with the crappy looking like cloud stuff in the background. At the end where they're up close where they're driving and the explosions, you tell the green screen of it doesn't hold up. Again, these are nitpicks. Overall, strong story. A lot of funny moments thanks to Shane Black's script. A very capable lead in Geena Davis. Sam Jackson does a wonderful job. I know my friend Michael Keane, he's a big fan of the film. I don't know if he's ever reviewed it. If you ever see this, did you ever review it? If not, you should review this sometime, man. And this is how you do it. For all these people that want to make these action films with a female lead, that's fine. It can work. Just like this film worked. Sadly, did not work at the box office. That's a shame. But in terms of execution, in terms of entertainment, this is how you do it. And I want to get the name of that movie I was thinking of. That movie I was... Okay, give me 1 minute. Let me look on my channel. First off, the one I was talking about, G20. That's the one where the lady's the president. I'm like, if Air Force One was lame as fuck. So G20, that's the one I was thinking of. That film sucked. The other one with Kate Beckinsale, Canary Black. No one ever forgot it's a stupid fucking name, Canary Black. The long... Look at the titles. G20, which I know what it has to do with the movie, but still, as a title. Which of these titles work? G20, when we're playing fucking bingo, A5, FU. Canary Black, is this like a shitty CW superhero show? After fucking Batgirl? Or Batwoman? What the fuck? Batwoman? Where the fuck was... Or The Long Kiss Goodnight. Yeah, The Long Kiss Goodnight has a much better title. For fuck's sake. Even the titles. But anyway, great movie. Wonderful to see this again. Thanks to Jonathan for your kindness, your patience and for sending the request in, because it gave me a chance to rewatch this. So I really do appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.